Back to the channel. Today we're going to unravel some incredibly complex events in Genoa. Rumors are circulating around the Newman family, but what's the truth? In this video, I'll summarize the plot points that will be revealed in the next episode. Stay tuned to see what happens. Welcome back to our channel, fellow Genoa City gossips. Today is an absolutely wild day to dive into the latest madness on our screens. We are buzzing to unpack the absolute chaos that just went down, so grab your coffee and let's get right into the thick of it. I cannot believe they did that. I am literally sitting here staring at my screen, typing furiously because my mind is completely and utterly blown by what just happened to Jack Abbott. I mean, we all knew this rescue mission was going to be a disaster, but this is a whole new level of catastrophic failure, and I need to vent about it before my head explodes. Jack has been kidnapped again by Patty Williams again. Am I the only one who feels like we are living in some kind of twisted time loop where Jack Abbott just cannot stop falling into the clutches of this absolute psychopath? But wait, I am getting ahead of myself. Let's back up and talk about how we even got to this ridiculous, heart-stopping point, because the sheer amount of stupidity and bad luck involved in this rescue plan is staggering. So Jack and Kyle have been plotting this grand, daring rescue to save Diane from Dr. Markham's creepy little compound. And what do? They discuss the highly sensitive, top-secret details of this illegal break-in on a random street corner in Genoa City. A street corner. I mean, are you kidding me? I've been watching since 2015, and this is by far the most amateur hour espionage I have ever seen from the Abbott men. And of course, who is lurking in the shadows listening to every single word? Patty Williams. Patty, who apparently has the stealth skills of a ninja assassin now. She heard the entire thing. She heard Jack's plan. She heard Kyle's plan. She realized that Jack's whole romantic routine was a complete and utter lie. And you know what happens when Patty Williams feels betrayed? All hell breaks loose. And then there is Kyle. Oh, Kyle. I love the guy, I really do, but his impulse control is practically non-existent. Jack explicitly told Kyle not to break into Markham's house. Jack insisted on doing it himself because he is carrying around this massive mountain of guilt over the whole yacht incident and feels like he owes it to Diane to be the solo hero. But Kyle, being Kyle, decides to go completely rogue. He leaves this incredibly threatening, unhinged voicemail for Dr. Markham, claiming he followed him home and saw Diane through the window, and threatens to call the cops. I know some people are loving this proactive side of Kyle, but personally, I was screaming at the television, "You do not tip off the kidnapper." Because what does Markham do? He immediately calls Kyle back, cool as a cucumber, totally gaslights him by saying Diane is actually at a clinic and agrees to meet Kyle at Crimson Lights to talk it out. Markham is stalling. It was so obvious. He just needed to keep Kyle away from the house so he and Patty could execute their counterattack. So Kyle is sitting at Crimson Lights, sipping his coffee, thinking he has outsmarted a criminal mastermind, while Jack is walking straight into a death trap. Because as soon as Jack sees Markham leave the house, he thinks the coast is clear. He thinks he is about to swoop in, grab his wife, and ride off into the sunset. Jack breaks into the compound. The tension in this scene was actually incredible, I have to admit. The dark lighting, the eerie silence of the house, Jack creeping around looking for Diane. You could cut the suspense with a knife, but the house is empty. Diane isn't there. And just as Jack is trying to process what is going on, bam, Patty Williams strikes. I am sorry, but how does Jack Abbott keep getting overpowered by Patty? I know she has the element of surprise, and I know she is completely unhinged, But watching Jack get ambushed and completely subdued in that empty house was both terrifying and incredibly frustrating. Patty was waiting for him. She set the trap, she lured him in, and she sprung it with terrifying precision. And now Jack is her prisoner. She tied him up and dragged him off to some secret location. Where is she taking him? Is it the old Williams family cabin? Because we all know that cabin has a dark, twisted history of being a hostage holding cell. Or does she have some new, creepy dungeon prepared specifically for Jack? The fact that Patty now has complete control over him again is giving me major anxiety. Remember when Victor used Patty to drug Jack on that abandoned yacht? Yeah, that didn't work out well for anyone, and it left Jack with some serious trauma. The humiliation, the violation of his agency, the fact that Diane walked in and completely misunderstood the situation that yacht incident destroyed Jack's marriage. And now he is right back in Patty's clutches. It is like his worst nightmare has come to life all over again. I am genuinely terrified of what Patty might do to him this time. She knows he lied about loving her. She knows he was just using her to get to Diane. A scorned Patty Williams is the most dangerous force of nature in Genoa City. Wait, actually, I am kind of living for the drama of it all. I hate seeing Jack suffer, but you have to admit, Patty makes for a fantastic, unpredictable villain. She is so delightfully unhinged. Okay, back to the point. While Jack is getting tied up and dragged off to God knows where, Kyle is still sitting at Crimson Lights, waiting for Markham. Markham never shows up, obviously. Kyle starts pacing, checking his phone, trying to call Jack. It goes straight to voicemail, again and again, and you can see the exact moment the realization hits Kyle. The color drains from his face. He realizes he has been played, and worse, he realizes his dad is missing. Kyle panics. And honestly, I don't blame him. He rushes to find Tracy, and this is the part of the episode that really broke my heart. Kyle tells Tracy that Jack went to Markham's house, that he can't reach him, and that he thinks Patty Williams has something to do with it. Tracy's reaction was everything. The sheer, unadulterated horror on her face. Tracy is the moral center of the Abbott family, the glue that holds them all together. And she has been through so much recently. Remember her ordeal with Martin Laron? She was psychologically tortured, held hostage, and manipulated by a psychopath pretending to be his twin brother. Tracy knows exactly what it is like to be at the mercy of a madman. And now, hearing that her beloved brother Jack has likely been kidnapped by Patty Williams, another known psychopath with a history of violence, it is pushing Tracy to the absolute brink. Tracy immediately suspects that Patty has kidnapped Jack again. She knows Patty's history. She knows about the yacht. She knows Patty's obsession with Jack is toxic and deadly. I can already see Tracy going into full Mama Bear mode, mobilizing the entire Abbott family to hunt Patty down. But where do they even start looking? Patty has the ultimate upper hand right now. And you know what the most frustrating, ironic part of this entire storyline is? Diane. Diane Jenkins Abbott is currently sitting in Markham's house, completely unaware that her husband just sacrificed his freedom trying to save her. And what is Diane doing? She is putting on the performance of a lifetime. She is crying. She is playing the victim. She is manipulating that smug, arrogant doctor, Markham, into giving her mild sedatives. Markham thinks he has broken her walls down. He thinks she trusts him, but Diane is secretly hoarding those pills to drug his drink and make her own escape. I mean, the irony is just too much to handle. Diane is literally plotting her own brilliant, cunning escape, while Jack, who tried to be the knight in shining armor, is now the one who needs rescuing. If Diane manages to knock Markham out and escape on her own, only to find out that Jack got himself kidnapped by Patty in the process, I don't even know how she's going to react. Will she be furious at his recklessness? Will she be touched by his devotion? Knowing Diane, it will probably be a messy combination of both. I know some people in the fandom are tired of the Abbott family constantly being in peril, but I am glued to my screen. The stakes have literally never been higher. We have Jack tied up in a secret location with a scorned, delusional Patty. We have Kyle and Tracy losing their minds with worry, desperately trying to trace Jack's steps. We have Diane playing a dangerous game of cat and mouse with a shady psychiatrist. And hovering over all of this is the shadow of Victor Newman, who funded Patty's return in the first place. If Victor finds out that Patty has gone completely off the rails and kidnapped Jack, will he intervene? Or will he just sit back in his leather chair and laugh while the Abbott family burns? Victor hates Jack, but even he has to realize that Patty is a liability. I am so stressed out about what happens next. Will Kyle have to swallow his pride and beg Victor for help finding Patty? Will Tracy have to face her own trauma to track down her brother? And what exactly is Patty planning to do with Jack? Is she going to try to force him into a twisted domestic life at that secret location? Is she going to torture him? I swear, this show's going to give me a heart attack. I am typing this at 2 a.m. because I cannot sleep thinking about Jack tied to a chair while Patty paces around him. The writers have really outdone themselves with this twist. Just when you think the rescue is going to succeed, they pull the rug right out from under us. And let's talk about Kyle's guilt for a second.